Significant game at Old Trafford on Sunday. Manchester United and Chelsea. Another one that the oddsmakers are struggling with. They cannot separate them. Both of them 17-10 to win the game. 5-2 you can get on the draw. When you look at Chelsea's recent record against Manchester United, particularly at Old Trafford, not sparkling. They lost there twice in the previous 2 Premier League campaigns, 3 draws preceding that. Also 2 meetings this year at Stamford Bridge. United getting a 2-2 draw there in October in the league, and they won 2-0 in the Cup early on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign.
Well, that's changed.
Yeah, but they've lost 7 of the last 9, Craig. They haven't been on a run like that since the Cuban Missile Crisis, I read. Which, I don't know if you remember that, but this is
kind of, but Ian likes it.
This is a bit of a crisis, is it not? I mean...
Well, you mentioned 7 in the last 9, and also the fact in games against the top 6, the perceived top 6, so the other 5 teams this year, they've only won once.
Yeah.
And that was against Tottenham, again away in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's early reign as interim manager at the time. We know Chelsea are not a great side. That's been shown this season with their inconsistency. We know Hudson-Odoi is out as well. But we also know they have probably the best player on the pitch, if he's fit and ready to go, which I think he is, and Eden Hazard. And I don't see any reason with United's recent form and performances why the bookmakers wouldn't be able to separate the teams just a little bit, and I would say in Chelsea's favour.
United surely, Steve, need this. Need it badly. They need it more than Chelsea, don't they? Chelsea would be happy.
How many times are we going to say this? We're always talking about... It started off that they needed a performance. Then it started... Now we're at... Well, they need to try, and they need to try and get a win at home, and they need to try and keep everybody happy. When's it going to come? Nobody, including Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has got any idea when this is going to happen. So why would it happen against the Chelsea side, who actually recently have been... You know, they've been pretty stable. They've been creating chances, and Hazard's playing back to his best. So it's very difficult for a Man United fan to sit and go into this game comfortably saying, well, we're at home, I think we'll take care of Chelsea, because I don't think they will. Yeah.
Ian, when Craig is on, we always ask our guests to provide a combined 11. Craig really does enjoy that, and so you've been tasked with it for Manchester United and Chelsea. What 11 did you come up with?
Well, I picked 7 Chelsea players and 4 Manchester United. They might have been lucky to get the 4, really. I've got Lindelof just ahead of David Luiz in there. I did include Pogba, but could you really do that on his recent form? That's more on his World Cup reputation and what he's capable of. But how often does he produce for Manchester United what he's capable of? I'm sure the boys would have 1 or 2 arguments there. The goalkeeper, maybe, at the moment, you couldn't pick De Gea, could you? I think actually Manchester United should give him a rest because they've got a good number 2 in Romero. So for the moment, I'd say Aretha Balaga in goal, but he hasn't been uprooting too many trees either. So, you know, it's a race not to finish in the top 4 at the moment. They keep on slipping up. You couldn't back either of these 2 teams with any confidence in this game.
No, I wouldn't really argue with it. I mean, I don't think Pogba's had a great season. How the hell he get in the team of the year? We'll talk about that at another point. It's another matter, but I can understand Ian putting him in this team because, you know, you couldn't put in Kovacic or Barkley or Jorginho, really. You couldn't really put in Matic. Herrera's been, you know, he was injured for a little bit.
So I don't you wouldn't have Fred in it?
Right, so Fred. Well, Herrera may be back for this game. That's a slight... bright piece of news for United.
That's very optimistic.
He may be back. He's missed 6 games.
You know, you look at Lindelof. Lindelof, you know, certainly has improved. Chelsea have struggled at the back. Shaw, obviously, because Chelsea's left backs have just struggled. And Ian's right about the goalkeepers. I don't think either of them have been convincing. But De Gea, I think, has got other things in his mind at the moment. And I think there has been suggestions for him to be dropped, but I don't think that will be the case.
Ian is so right, though. There's been so much stumbling and bumbling when it comes to this race for the top 4. Teams trying to help their
well, Arsenal as well.
Yeah. Is that going to change, or is someone going to really take command?
It's hard to turn around and say yes, because we've actually sat here for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we've been constantly asked who's going to be in the top 4 and who's not going to make it. And every time we make a decision, somebody goes and throws a result in.
Yes, they do.
That completely upsets the apple cart. But The good thing about this game is Manchester United are so bad and so awful and not unpredictable, quite frankly, because where's a performance or a win coming from? And that's why I can confidently say I'm 100% back in Chelsea here. You know, I don't remember the last time Man United actually dominated a midfield. And we've been criticising Chelsea's midfield, but this Chelsea side are far better in the middle of the park for me, again, than United. And I think that's why ultimately they'll win the game, Chelsea, because the midfield will be in their control.
So you're picking them to win at Old Trafford?
I am, yeah.
There's two teams that can almost finish this at the weekend, and Tottenham probably will. Tottenham will be in the top 4, and deservedly so. They've been the third best team. But Chelsea can absolutely kill it. And I've lost all confidence in Arsenal, particularly with the way they've played in the last 2 or 3 games, particularly the last 2 games, when they had an opportunity away from home there, where they lost, but at home to Crystal Palace. If Chelsea beat Man United, it's pretty much nailed on. Them and Tottenham, and they'll just kill Man United. They'll kill Man United off. I'm going for a Chelsea win and just kill United off. OK, 2 Chelsea wins. Ian, break down the whole top 4 picture for us if you can. Who's got? I think Spurs are a consensus choice to finish 3rd, but who's going to take that 4th spot?
I think it's going to be pretty tough, you know, after that. Don't underestimate the role that Leicester City and Brendan Rodgers may play, not only in the race for the top 4, but the title as well. Remember, they beat Manchester City earlier on in the season, and Manchester City still have to play them at home. You'd think City would win it, but, you know, they've got a bit of flair, and they've got Vardy. Leicester, they're the kind of team they drew at Liverpool who might just, on one day, come up with an upset. And they do play Chelsea and Arsenal at home. Arsenal have to go there this weekend, and on the back of their recent away performances in the league, it's hard to fancy them, to be honest with you. I think that's a close game that could go either way.
Agree? Spurs and Chelsea. I think you've already nailed your colours to the mast, haven't you? But Arsenal and Manchester United to miss out.
Well, United will get themselves back in the hunt this weekend with a win, but in current form, like I said against City, although City are a better side, I don't see a path to victory for them. And even against an inconsistent Chelsea side, I don't see a path to victory for United, not at the moment.
Maurizio Sarri saying we're not going to try to win necessarily, but it's important not to lose at Old Trafford. His words today. A draw would suit him, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, yeah. But and again, talking about the top 4, Chelsea are the most consistent of the 3 that I think are fighting for that 4th spot, and that is ultimately again why we're going to take them. Which considering what Sarri's been like, certainly the first half of the season. To call them consistent seems incredible now.